everyone, and happy Friday. I'm here with another running technique tip. This one is really straightforward and quick to implement. I think that you'll feel a huge difference in your running the very first time you try it. So we've covered how to brace while running, and last week we went over some basics of pacing your workouts. Today we're going to go over stride length and cadence. New runners usually have one thing in common in that their strides are very long and their cadence, or steps per minute, is very low. So let's take a look at some video looking at long versus short strides.
So in this first video, I am overextending my stride a little bit. So you can notice that my upper body is very upright, and as soon as my foot strikes the ground, it's actually my heel that's touching first. It looks a little bit awkward. So in the second video, I'm running like I normally do. So you can see pretty dramatically, I have some forward lean going on here. And as my foot reaches the ground, it's my whole foot, really my midfoot, that's making that first contact.
So this is where I think a lot of the magic happens with running. By just shortening my steps and increasing my cadence by picking my feet up more quickly, I'm working with gravity to move smoothly. My center of gravity, my core, stays in line with my front foot as it hits the ground, so I don't need to use quite as much energy to keep moving forward. When I'm taking long strides, I was leaning back quite a bit, and that's letting my front foot go out further in front of me. That means my center of gravity every time I strike the ground is behind that foot. As my heel strikes the ground, it's almost like I'm putting the brakes on myself. So I have to fight my own body to keep moving forward. It's exhausting and also can lead to some common running injuries. I have 2 tips for shortening your stride. The first is to count your steps to get an idea of where your cadence is currently. So you're going to go out for a nice easy jog, set a timer for 30 seconds, count each and every step that you take over that time. At the end, you're going to take that number, you're going to double it, and that will give you your cadence. Ideally, that would be anywhere from 160 to 180 steps per minute, but most new runners are going to be below that 160 mark. All you'll need to do is slowly start adding just a few steps per minute. So for example, if your current cadence is 145, when you go out next week, aim for 150 in every run that week. The following week, 155. You don't have to make a huge change all at once to get results. The second tip that I have for you is to incorporate some butt kicks into your warm-up.
So notice as I move, I'm bringing my heel towards my glutes without swinging my entire leg backwards. The movement's coming from getting my knees up and out of the way. This will fatigue your hip flexors at first as you get used to the change in pattern, but it'll get easier with time.
Shortening my stride changed how I felt about running. It went from something that I did to stay in shape that was super painful to something that I do because I really enjoy it. And all it took were some literal baby steps. I hope it works for you too.